As we age past 60, moss becomes one of the biggest threats to independence, energy, and longevity. What most people don't realize is that not all fish are created equal. In fact, there's one type of fish that can quietly sabotage your muscle health, accelerating weakness and loss of strength in as little as 90 days. But here's the good news: while one fish works against you, 4 others are proven to do the opposite, nourishing your muscles, protecting your cells, and even helping to reverse key signs of aging. These aren't exotic or hard to find. They're everyday foods that can completely shift how your body feels and functions after 60. So, if you've ever been told muscle decline is inevitable, get ready to discover the hidden truth about the fish you should avoid, and the 4 that can help you stay strong, vibrant, and active at any age. Let's start with the one fish you absolutely need to watch out for. It's common, it's widely sold, and many people eat it thinking it's healthy. But research shows it can quietly erode muscle strength and accelerate aging. Here's what you need to know. This fish is farmed in overcrowded ponds, often loaded with contaminants, and has one of the lowest levels of omega-3s compared to any other fish. Instead, it's high in inflammatory fats that weaken muscle tissue over time. Eaten regularly, it does the opposite of what fish is supposed to do. It accelerates decline instead of protecting you. That's why this is the #1 fish to avoid if you're over 60. When most people think about eating fish, the assumption is that it's universally healthy. Doctors, diet books, and countless magazine articles have praised fish for decades as a staple of a heart, healthy and longevity-supporting diet. And for good reason. Many types of fish are packed with lean protein, omega-3 fatty acids, and important micronutrients that support everything from brain health to joint function. But here's the part that rarely gets discussed. Not all fish provide these benefits equally, and some varieties can actually work against the very goals you're trying to achieve, especially after the age of 60. The idea that every fish is good for you has led many people to unknowingly make choices that harm rather than help their long-term health. For those over 60, the stakes are even higher because of the natural physiological changes that take place with age. Muscle tissue doesn't regenerate as quickly as it once did. Inflammation tends to rise, recovery slows, and nutrient absorption can become less efficient. At this stage of life, the body needs foods that are as nutrient-dense and supportive as possible. Eating a fish that fails to deliver those benefits, or worse, actively introduces harmful compounds, can tip the balance in the wrong direction. It's important to understand that fish vary dramatically in terms of how they're raised, what they're fed, and what nutrients they contain. Wild, caught species often swim in natural environments, consuming a diet that keeps their nutrient profile strong. Farmed fish, on the other hand, are frequently raised in crowded pens, exposed to unnatural diets, and sometimes even antibiotics or chemical additives to maintain their appearance. The result is a very different product on your plate, one that may contain more inflammatory fats and fewer of the protective omega-3s that your muscles and cells rely on. After 60, muscle preservation becomes one of the keys to independence and vitality. Every bite of food you eat is either fueling your strength or slowly eroding it. Choosing the wrong fish means you're not getting the amino acids, omega-3s, and supportive nutrients your body needs to maintain muscle. Instead, you could be introducing compounds that promote inflammation, oxidative stress, and fat deposition, all of which accelerate muscle breakdown. This is where the myth of whole fish are healthy does the most damage. People who genuinely want to take care of themselves may load their diets with the wrong fish, believing they're protecting their heart and muscles, when in reality they're feeding the very decline they're trying to avoid. It isn't about scaring people away from fish altogether. It's about creating awareness that choices matter. Just as not all proteins are equal, not all fish deliver the same health outcomes. By breaking away from the blanket assumption and looking at fish more critically, people over 60 can start to make smarter, more informed decisions that directly support muscle preservation, energy, and overall health. This awareness is the first step toward not just avoiding decline, but actively creating the conditions for strength and resilience in later life. Muscle health after the age of 60 is more than a matter of looking fit or feeling strong. It becomes a central factor in how well you can live your daily life. Muscles are what allow you to stand up from a chair, climb a set of stairs, carry groceries, and keep your balance when walking. When muscle strength declines, those ordinary tasks turn into challenges, and in many cases, risks. Falls, injuries, and a loss of independence often trace back to gradual muscle loss that went unnoticed until it became a problem. That's why protecting muscle health in later years is not a luxury, it is a necessity for maintaining quality of life. One of the silent forces working against older adults is sarcopenia, the natural loss of muscle tissue that comes with age. By the time most people reach their 60s, this process has already begun. Without intervention, the rate of loss accelerates, and within a few years, someone who was active and independent can find themselves weaker, slower, and less stable on their feet. Sarcopenia does not just affect strength, it alters metabolism, reduces bone protection, and weakens the body's resilience against illness. The food choices made every day either slow this process down or speed it up. Protein is the foundation of muscle tissue, and high-quality protein sources become even more important after 60. Muscles require amino acids to repair and rebuild, but the body's ability to efficiently use protein declines with age. This means that even if you're eating the same amount of protein you did in your 40s, it may no longer be enough to stimulate muscle growth. The type of protein and the way it interacts with your body's needs becomes the difference between preserving strength and slowly losing it. Fish is often recommended because it provides not only protein but also omega-3 fatty acids, which support muscle function by reducing inflammation and improving the way muscles respond to protein intake. However, the wrong kind of fish flips that benefit on its head. Instead of supporting muscle health, it can increase inflammation, interfere with recovery, and replace the high-quality nutrients your body craves with fats that work against you. Over time, this can create the conditions where muscle loss accelerates and weakness sets in faster than it should. For someone over 60, that's not just an inconvenience. It's a direct hit to independence, energy levels, and longevity. When the right fish is chosen, the opposite effect takes place. Muscles receive the amino acids they need, inflammation is reduced, and recovery after activity becomes easier. This can mean better balance, more energy for daily tasks, and a stronger metabolism. It's not about eating large amounts of food, but about eating smarter, with an awareness that every bite can either fuel strength or chip away at it. Recognizing how critical muscle health is after 60 makes the choice of which fish to eat far more important than most people realize. The truth about the number one worst fish for people over 60 is that it often shows up on the table under the label of being light, healthy, or a smart alternative. That fish is tilapia. For years it has been marketed as a mild-tasting, affordable option that can easily fit into almost any recipe. But when you look closely at what tilapia actually provides, especially for an older body that needs nutrient density and anti-inflammatory support, the picture changes completely. Instead of being a muscle-preserving food, tilapia has characteristics that can accelerate weakness and inflammation. Tilapia is one of the most commonly farmed fish in the world, and the conditions under which it is raised play a big role in its nutrient profile. Unlike wild fish that consume a natural diet rich in algae or smaller nutrient-packed organisms, farmed tilapia are often fed a mixture of corn, soy, and other cheap grains. This type of diet alters the balance of fats in their bodies. Instead of being rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are protective for muscles, heart, and brain, tilapia carries more omega-6 fatty acids, which in excess can be inflammatory. Chronic inflammation is one of the main drivers of muscle breakdown, slower recovery, and accelerated aging. For someone over 60, this matters even more. The body's natural anti-inflammatory defenses are not as strong as they once were, and consuming foods that add to the burden can make it harder to preserve muscle mass. A diet high in tilapia means fewer omega-3s to fight inflammation and more omega-6s to fuel it. In the long term, that imbalance directly undermines muscle strength and overall vitality. The problems with tilapia don't end with its fatty acid profile. Many farmed tilapia operations have been linked to overcrowded ponds, poor water quality, and the use of antibiotics or chemicals to control disease. While standards vary depending on the country, the reality is that fish raised in these environments are less nutrient-rich than their wild counterparts. For older adults who need every bite of protein to deliver maximum benefit, tilapia falls short. Its protein content is not harmful, but it is also not as bioactive in supporting muscle protein synthesis compared to other fish with higher quality nutrient profiles. Another hidden concern with tilapia is how it impacts blood sugar and fat metabolism. Some studies have suggested that the fatty acid balance in tilapia may contribute to systemic inflammation in ways that mimic the effects of eating fried or processed foods. Over time, this can interfere with insulin sensitivity, energy levels, and fat storage, which further compounds the challenges of maintaining lean muscle after 60. The very food that is supposed to be light and healthy can quietly create conditions that make it harder to age well. For people who want to stay strong, steady, and active later in life, tilapia simply does not deliver the nutritional power that other fish provide. Choosing it regularly means missing out on the protective effects of omega-3s and exposing the body to an inflammatory profile that works directly against muscle health. The science behind protective fish shows a very different picture from the one painted by tilapia. Instead of fueling inflammation and draining the body of its resilience, certain fish provide nutrients that actively work with your biology to slow aging, preserve strength, and even reverse some of the damage that time and poor diet create. For people over 60, this isn't just about eating well, it's about choosing foods that send the right signals to the body at a time when those signals matter most. One of the most important ways protective fish work is by delivering high concentrations of omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA. These compounds are powerful anti-inflammatory agents that calm the chronic, low-grade inflammation that accumulates with age. By reducing inflammation in muscles, joints, and blood vessels, omega-3s create an internal environment where muscle protein synthesis can occur more efficiently. This means that every ounce of protein you consume from these fish is more likely to translate into preserved or even newly built muscle. Beyond omega-3s, these fish also provide essential amino acids in highly bioavailable forms. Muscle tissue depends on amino acids like leucine, valine, and isoleucine to trigger repair and growth. As the body ages, it becomes less sensitive to these signals, so it requires protein sources that are especially rich and easily absorbed. The right fish can bridge this gap, helping older muscles respond more strongly to smaller amounts of protein. This is why a serving of high-quality fish can sometimes accomplish what 2 or 3 servings of lower-quality protein cannot. Protective fish also deliver micronutrients that directly support anti-aging processes. Selenium, for example, acts as a potent antioxidant, defending cells from oxidative stress that can damage muscle fibers and accelerate aging. Vitamin D, which is naturally present in some fish, helps regulate calcium balance and bone health, indirectly supporting muscle function by reducing the risk of fractures and supporting better stability. These nutrients, working together, create a layered defense system that protects the body on multiple levels. Circulation is another area where the right fish make a difference. Omega-3s improve blood flow, which ensures that muscles receive the oxygen and nutrients they need to perform and recover. Improved circulation also benefits the heart and brain, 2 organs that rely on steady blood supply to function at their best. For people over 60, this means clearer thinking, more stamina, and a reduced risk of the kinds of vascular issues that can cut vitality short. The impact of these fish is not limited to the muscles alone. By lowering inflammation, improving nutrient delivery, and protecting cells, they also influence energy levels, mobility, and even mood. People who consistently consume protective fish often report greater energy for daily activities, fewer aches and pains, and a renewed sense of strength that carries into every area of life. These benefits come not from supplements or medications, but from making deliberate choices about the type of fish placed on the plate. When it comes to identifying the 4 best anti-aging fish, each one brings something unique to the table. They are not interchangeable copies of each other, but rather complementary options that provide overlapping benefits with their own specialties. For someone over 60, including a mix of these choices across the week can cover more bases than relying on a single type. These fish go beyond simply supplying protein. They deliver protective compounds that actively fight the very mechanisms of aging, from inflammation and oxidative stress to weakened metabolism and declining muscle mass. Wild salmon is often at the top of the list because of its extraordinary nutrient density. Unlike farmed salmon, wild-caught varieties have a superior omega-3 profile, rich in EPA and DHA, which are directly linked to muscle preservation and cardiovascular health. Salmon also contains astaxanthin, a powerful antioxidant that gives the flesh its pink color. Astaxanthin helps reduce oxidative stress, protecting muscle fibers from damage during both exercise and everyday movement. This makes salmon a food that doesn't just feed muscle, but actively shields it from breakdown. Sardines, though small, are one of the most nutrient-packed fish available. They are an inexpensive, accessible option that contains high levels of omega-3s along with vitamin D and calcium. Together, these nutrients not only support muscle but also bone density, which becomes increasingly important after 60. Stronger bones and stronger muscles work hand in hand to prevent falls, maintain posture, and provide stability. Because sardines are low on the food chain, they also carry a much lower risk of mercury contamination, making them one of the cleanest fish to consume regularly. Mackerel offers another dimension of benefit. While also rich in omega-3s, it provides coenzyme Q10, a nutrient critical for cellular energy production. CoQ10 levels naturally decline with age, leaving cells less efficient at generating energy. By restoring some of this compound through food, mackerel helps muscles and other tissues perform at a higher capacity. The result is not just preserved muscle mass, but muscles that feel more energetic and capable during daily activities. For older adults who often struggle with fatigue, this can be a game changer. Rainbow trout stands out for its balanced profile of lean protein, omega-3s, and antioxidants like selenium. Selenium plays an essential role in defending the body from oxidative damage, which can otherwise accelerate muscle breakdown and contribute to age-related decline. By combining protein with this protective antioxidant, rainbow trout delivers a double benefit. It helps repair and build muscle tissue while simultaneously guarding against cellular wear and tear. Its mild flavor and accessibility make it an easy addition to a wide range of meals. Together, these 4 fish form a nutritional toolkit. Each offers its own advantage: salmon with astaxanthin, sardines with vitamin D and calcium, mackerel with CoQ10, and trout with selenium. For someone looking to reverse the markers of aging and strengthen muscles past 60, incorporating these choices regularly provides overlapping layers of support. The body thrives when fed these nutrients consistently, and the rewards show up in strength, energy balance, and overall resilience.